So for people who might have just joined us, who might have just tuned into FM104's Mind Your Noggin today, could you just explain to me what Jigsaw is and maybe the services that you offer?
Yeah, sure. So Jigsaw was set up in 2006 as the National Centre for Youth Mental Health. And we currently have 14 services, including one digital service offering mental health supports to young people between the ages of 12 and 25. And we also do a lot of work in communities to try and build the capacity of maybe adults who are working or volunteering or supporting young people, so that they are able to support a young person if they experience a mental health difficulty. And then I guess nationally as well, we're also trying to influence change, just bring awareness to the issue of youth mental health using research and the evidence that we gather from the supports and services that we deliver, and through amplifying the voices of young people as well who are involved in our services.
Sure, and trying to break that stigma is a huge thing. I know from Mind Your Noggin Day last year, one of Jigsaw's key messages is that no problem is too small. What does that mean to somebody who's reaching out to you?
Yeah, I think one of the things that would have drawn me to work in Jigsaw is the way that they think about mental health, which is recognizing that sometimes things happen in our lives and they can be very serious or significant, or they may feel very serious and significant to us, so they can impact on our mental health. So it's about realizing that and bringing awareness to the fact that sometimes these things happen in our lives, and then if they do, and there are ways to manage our mental health and things we can do, but sometimes we may need to reach out and ask somebody for support. So yeah, I guess that's one of the things that is behind the ethos in Jigsaw, that we are there to offer support to young people if and when they need it.
And I think COVID, it obviously has had a drastic effect on us all, but especially for young people in Ireland who've had to move from maybe, a school environment or a college environment to remote learning or doing exams from an unusual setting. That alone can bring a lot of stress and anxiety. Have you seen an increase in people using your services over the past 2 years, particularly with COVID?
I think from my perspective, we've been involved in doing research, looking at young people's mental health for a couple of years. And one of the things that we would have known before COVID is that, the period of your life between the age of 12 and 25 is when you're most likely actually to experience a mental health difficulty. So when we get older, the chances, let's say, of having a heart attack or a stroke or experiencing a significant physical health illness increase. But actually, it's when you're young, you're most likely to experience mental health difficulty. And we knew before COVID that it was hard for young people. We see that through our own research, for example, the My World survey. But definitely, yes, COVID has been tough for everyone, especially for young people, and for some of the reasons that you've described. It's been what we have seen in Jigsaw is at particular times we have been quieter. So for example, when there's lockdown, because oftentimes the referrals that come to our services will come through schools, or they'll come through adults who are working with young people and they just weren't in touch with those young people, or they weren't seeing them and able to refer them on for support. And then when public health restrictions eased, and people started moving again, we got very busy. So it was up and down, I would say, in terms of over the course of the pandemic. Yeah.
And intervention is really key here, I suppose. What does that mean?
Yeah, it can mean different things. In Jigsaw, I suppose, when a young person comes, they'll often come for maybe 6 to 8 sessions, which are usually about 45 minutes, and they'll meet with a clinician who's a mental health professional, and they will work with a young person in a very collaborative way, so in partnership with the young person, to understand what's happening for them. And then what kind of support they might need. So that's one intervention that we offer in Jigsaw. We also offer an online chat service where someone can log on, and have a one-off session very similar with a trained mental health professional. And then we also do lots of youth mental health promotion work in communities, so in schools, in colleges, in other organizations, where our staff and sometimes young people are actually delivering a workshop about a particular topic in youth mental health to other young people. So intervention can mean lots of different things.
You touched on the online group chat. Can you talk to me about that just a little bit? Who'd be actually in the group? What could you expect from the chat? And can you remain anonymous if you want?
Yeah, so we have online group chat and online individual chat. So in Jigsaw, it's both. Yes, people can choose to remain anonymous for our service. And so you register for the service through our website, and there are particular times when that service is open. So you join a queue, and at the moment, the wait time for that service is relatively short. And then once you're through that process, you meet with the mental health, a trained mental health professional who again will talk to the young person, find out what's happening for them and what kind of support they might need. And sometimes they might need more support than what you can offer in one session online. And it might be about directing the young person to that service. So it could be Jigsaw or it could be another mental health service.
Okay, so it's not exclusively just the online services. So what would happen then if somebody initially contacts you and reaches out to you?
Through the online service?
In general?
In general, yeah. So it depends. So people can come through to Jigsaw in a couple of different ways. So they can get in touch themselves, or it might be a mum, dad, or another family member who gets in touch with the service, or it might be a GP or somebody else working in a school or another organisation who is worried or concerned about a young person. So depending on the young person's age, then somebody in Jigsaw will talk with or get in touch with the young person themselves or their parent or guardian, and they will come in and meet with a trained mental health professional or a clinician to do an assessment, which is to find out, whether Jigsaw is the right service for them and whether 6 to 8 sessions would be useful. And often it is, or, to determine it, they might determine that the young person needs more support than what Jigsaw can offer. So it might be about supporting that young person to access another service in their community. So people get in touch in different ways, phone, email, they call, phone and email probably would be the most common ways. I'm trying to think. Yeah.
And I know, obviously, there's been a huge kind of impact in the standard fundraising initiatives that many different charities would have. I know you guys obviously got involved with us last year with Mind Your Noggin Day, and again this year. One of the brilliant things I saw that you did earlier on this year was the 24-hour gaming competition that ran. And there was some really cool stuff there as well. What other kind of things do you do in fundraising sense?
In fundraising, there's Revolution at the moment, which is a cycling challenge, and people can get more information about that on the website. We've done abseils in Croke Park. No, I didn't do it. Yeah, no, not yet anyway. But oftentimes what would happen is somebody in a community who has maybe engaged with a Jigsaw service, or someone in their family has, or a friend has, they will do their own local fundraiser and get in touch with us and say, we're running however many miles or kilometers or climbing whatever mountain, and we'd like to donate the proceeds of that towards Jigsaw. So there's just a huge range of things that people do in their communities. Very, very varied.
And you're across the country. It's not Dublin specific at all. Can you tell me the locations Jigsaw is in?
Yeah, you can pretty much walk from Galway to Dublin through, there's a service in every county that if you were to cross that way. So from Donegal down to Kerry, you've got Galway, Roscommon, Laois, Offaly, Meath. Obviously, there's a couple of services in and around Dublin as well. And Jigsaw Tipperary will be opening officially later this year. But again, 14 services with Tipperary going to open soon, and they're all on the website, the details of those.
And Aileen, for somebody who is listening now at the moment who feels that they might need help from Jigsaw, how do they go about reaching out to you, and what way would they do that?
Yeah, so I would suggest just the easiest thing to do is to log on to the website first of all. So that's www.jigsaw.ie, and you can get the details of maybe your local Jigsaw service or the service that's in your community, or you might also see then the details of the online service if that maybe would be what somebody would like to try first. Sure. That is the best way, I think, to get in touch.
Listen, Aileen, thanks a million for chatting to us today.